What's going on, y'all, and welcome to Live in the Tank with Keith Deyo and Aaron Hairston. It is Take Action Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day and taking action. You know, it's going to be a great conversation today. I got a lot of good stuff for you guys. You know, I've been thinking really deeply in regards to what today's message would be and being curious. You know, being curious to your own growth and development is very, very important. And if you're not looking into it, then who is, right? So we're going to discuss that. But before we do, let's go ahead and just share some gratitude. What excites you today? We'll wait for some people to jump on here. I'm going to go ahead and share it out as well. Yesterday was lit. Boy, I want to have that same energy, that same interactivity with everybody as well as today too. So I'm going to give some people some time to jump on here. But as always, go ahead and share what you're thankful for, what you're grateful for, and let's get this show on the road. So let's go. Who we got on? Come on, don't be shy now. Who we got on here? Let's go ahead and share your gratitude. Did you guys get out there and vote yet? Very, very important, guys. Get out there and vote. Vote for who you want. Okay? Don't get caught up in the bullying. That's the main objective here. So everybody has a voice. So go vote for who you believe is going to help you with the goals that you want to achieve. That's very, very important, guys. All right, who we got on here? What's going on, y'all? Here we go. Now everybody's coming in here. So yeah, let's go ahead and share some gratitude. 30 seconds or a sentence or a phrase. It can be anything, guys. What excites you today? Thumbs up, hearts, let's go. Let's get the energy going. Let's pump this thing up. Let's get everybody engaged here. So yeah, what are you grateful for? What are you excited about? Life, breath, health, wealth, faith, family, love it. Good all day, good stuff, Aaron. Loving that, man. Good stuff. Good to see you here, Christine. As always, good stuff. Go ahead and send it out. Let everybody know we are live. And thinking about curiosity, all right? I want you guys to just kind of digest that for a minute. What does curiosity mean to you? For those who are parents, it can mean a lot, for sure. Little kids, they're always curious about things. Why this, why that? But I want you guys to be thinking about curiosity of yourself, right? Where are the growth moments? Where are the moments that are so important that we must listen to? A lot of them are really challenging moments, right? The lessons are within those silver linings. It killed the cat? Okay, yeah, it can, I guess. I really don't understand. Well, I guess I understand it now if you think about it, right? It can get you in a little bit of trouble digging too deep. I'm curious when the kids are going back to school. LOL. Right on, Kelly. Well, I'm fortunate enough that our children are in school, and it's been an absolute blessing, and I am not looking forward to the possibility of going back to school. I am not looking into that. I love being a daddy. I am not a big fan of being my children's teacher. That is not, in school, I mean, I'm always teaching them at home, you know, my boys, helping them become great men. But as far as the academic part, I just want to be a compliment. That's it. Awesome. Sierra, helping people take that next step on their health journey. Amen. Moving back to CT. Hell yeah, come on. Hey, CT's done a lot of things right. So it's definitely been good. But we are experiencing some incline, but you know, people are going to be a little bit resistant, not wearing their masks, and COVID's going to do this thing. There we go. Fan is too loud. Fan on my computer. Come on. Really? Move it over here. Maybe that helps. All right, Keith, let's go, kid. I'm going to get you on here. So yeah, curiosity. So what I mean by that is, are you paying attention to those moments? Moments where it is imperative to pay attention, to be aware of our surroundings. And it's important that we catch on to these moments. What's up, Keith? It's important that we catch on to these moments. These are the things in life that make us who we are. really, is our decisions and what's going on. And if we're not being aware of what circumstances are doing for us and we're still caught up in that victim mindset, we may miss the
Where's your
very
shirt?
lesson that was intended for us to take. So that's where I'm at today, Keith. I'm excited about taking action, getting into, engaging action about your business, about your health, about your relationships, things like that, and just really evaluating where are those moments where we can grow so that that curiosity doesn't always enhance, right? Because we're looking at different areas of our life and where we can grow, but also not forgetting that every moment is an opportunity for us to learn. So what you working with today, Keith?
Yeah, same thing. Along the same lines. I mean, we're always pretty much in alignment with where we're at. Whether
Amen.
we call it the same thing or whether it shows up the same way, it's still in alignment. What does Miranda say? I agree with you. Last words. I love being a mom, but I'm meant to be a work. I'm meant to be a working, and I think family needs time apart. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
not
talking
sure I
about
follow that.
homeschooling and all that
Yeah.
craziness.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and so it's not necessarily um, always the time apart that we need. It's that tends to be the physicality or the physicalness or the thing that shows up on the outside when we allow ourselves the grace to feel relieved. And it's not that necessarily that the separation is the thing that may be needed. It's more of the how are you translating that emotion? How are you translating that need? How has that emotion been been mentored for you in the past? So, or is it an inexpression of an emotion that's caused that you can't or won't allow yourself to have when certain people or things are present? And so, for me today, the message that I received, and I only recently sent out uh, a glimpse of that, was that based on identity and how important it is to realize that our identity is only what we've been told is what we truly are. And there
Hmm.
was a really good point that Alan Watts, yeah, let that sink in. And there's a really good point that Alan Watts made, and he said that he's a great philosopher, and he said that we we've we come we are of this earth. We didn't come to this earth. We are of this earth. We are likened to every plant, every blade of grass, every animal, every living, breathing organism. We are likened to and part of. Even the dirt. And that's what we forget sometimes because we're so focused on on what's going on outside of our world and how it impacts us, and we forget that as we live as the best versions of who we know we can be and who we ultimately are, we're
Mm-hmm.
literally making an investment into the bank account of the universe, so that as our physicalness fades, whenever that time is, our energy signature doesn't. Our energy signature compounds. That's our soul. That's that part that gets to be passed on. That's that part that, as much as we become familiar with it, and you know when it shows up because it feels extremely great. It feels extremely good, and you're in such alignment. It's those effortless moments in life that you are pure, not those effortless moments in life that we have our hands up and we say whatever, or it is what it is, or this is painful and why is this happening? I didn't do this. And you don't take you don't take the ownership of it. I'm talking about the moments when pure bliss shows up for you. And there's a lot of those moments for me. I know there is for Aaron. I know there's a lot of people on here. We've gotten to the point where we've found a recipe where more often than not, if we were to reflect, we would be reflecting in a position where we would say, that's pure bliss. That's exactly what I needed. That's exactly
Mm-hmm.
who I was when I showed up that way. And that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
who I am and know I will become even more of. And it's those moments when you're in touch, in alignment with your soul. That's the signature that's going to be left when you leave. It's a matter of remembering, especially on this day of all days. It's to live out of appreciation and not in frustration. We are part of something so much bigger than any election, than any way that one person may treat you, or any way one person may speak to you or speak of you or speak themselves, or what they may say on social media. It's so much bigger. And when you can take a step back and realize that what we're a part of, where how far we've come and how far we're going to go, that
Mm-hmm.
this isn't even a blip. It doesn't. It This is a blip. It doesn't matter who he voted for or she voted for or you voted for. That doesn't take away from our connection to the ultimate source. Whoever, whomever, wherever that may be, you all get to choose that. And so I saw a great quote. I'll leave you with this, Aaron. As I saw a great quote today, and it said, "No matter who's in office tomorrow, your problems are all still your problems. They're all still your fault. They're all still going to be there." It's like you think things are going to change and go away overnight. It's not going to happen. It's literally you that makes the change, not somebody, not some elected official. There's so much other things that they deal with. It's up to us, and it's up to us to realize how big this picture actually is
Yeah.
and how important we are in that picture.
Wow, that's pretty profound. And if you understand what Keith just said, I just got goosebumps just thinking about that message. I mean, what an amazing time to be alive.
Yeah.
There has never been
Yeah.
a time where we truly have a lot more control
Mm.
than we've ever had as a human race, right? In this world. There used to be a time where you could only do so much, right?
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of restrictions, there were a lot of limitations. A lot of it had to do with um, transparency, a lot of it had to do with connection, a lot of it had to do with distance, right? And travel. You didn't know what was going on across the world. We didn't know what's going on next door, next state, right? There were times where if if you didn't visit a certain state, you didn't know what type of cultures live there, right?
Mm-hmm.
We live in a time now where the entire world is connected. It's so connected, whereas you can find whatever it is that you're looking for
In a heartbeat.
in a heartbeat, literally in a heartbeat. And for many people, that can be very, very scary because now accountability is of the foremost, right? It's
Mm.
right there. It's like if you don't take accountability for what it is that you want and what it is that you're working towards, then you quickly get put into a pool of people that are working towards something else for someone else.
Yep.
Just like that. Like
Yep.
literally, it doesn't wait. And I know that we live by the saying, once you stop going for what you do want, what you don't want immediately shows up.
Yeah.
That has never been so true than right now, right? That we can literally be influenced by so many things around us that literally will take over our entire life. It
Mm-hmm.
literally will control us from a mental standpoint, emotional standpoint, physical standpoint. And so, how do we translate this? Well, the first thing is to take that responsibility, right? And say, you know what? I'm responsible for what the outcome comes. And that what I mean by that is that whatever I'm working towards, meaningful, intentional, those things are my responsibility. And if I come up short, it's not due to someone else or circumstance. It's actually due to the skill, right? It comes up to
Mm-hmm.
technique, it comes into strategy, it comes into significance, it comes into that hierarchy, right? And how you're actually creating your team. All right. Now look at this as that broader picture and say, okay, well, who is on my team, right? Who is on my team and what resources are fueling our team? And you start thinking about those things and you're like, holy smokes, right? There's so much more responsibility that's on us now that we've all called for, right? We wish that we had
Yep.
more control. We wish that we were responsible. We wish that we could make our choices. Well, here you go. Here we go, right? And so be thankful of that. That now abundance is right there for the grabs. You can literally do, have, and be whatever it is that you want, okay, and that you desire. Whatever makes you feel amazing inside, you can do it. You can have it. And so it's important that we be present and aware because little choices that we may have never thought made such an impact, it does now,
Oh
right?
yeah.
A little vent on social media about something that happened that was negative can literally spiral out of control into something they call viral, which if you look at the terminology of viral is means sickness.
Yeah.
It can be a bad thing because it can influence us. And the flip side of that is that something positive can make a huge ripple effect, that can change and shift the emotional state of people when they see it. They're like, wow, and our children are being affected by all of this. Okay. And so it's so important at this point, if we are parents and that we are influencers of others, that we are more aware now of our surroundings and who we're being in those surroundings and what example are we giving, and being curious, right? Being curious of what else could this mean, right? What type of lesson not only can I learn, but what can I teach? What can I share? What moment or example can I show so that someone that may never see me again in person, but because of social media or because of some sort of event you volunteered at, whatever, had that moment with you? What type of impact would you like it to leave? What type of impact would you like to look back at that experience and say, oh, because I was curious, I asked a few questions to that individual to find out their direction and what they were looking for, and I was able to provide a key. I was able to provide some sort of, some sort of hope and belief, and now that person can go on. And so, this is a very important time, and accountability is huge right now. There is nothing that we can't do other than things that we don't believe we can.
Yeah, 100%. By being curious, you're also taking into account what else exists. That's literally, if you're curious, you're somebody that lives by faith. That ability to have faith and use vision, believe in the unseen or the unknown, being
Mm-hmm.
willing to go first. That's what curiosity tends to be like. The reason why they said curiosity killed the cat is because that cat wasn't necessarily equipped or believed that that cat was equipped when it went poking his nose around corners and looking into more things. But the one thing that the cat did have, regardless of whether or not the cat really died or not, and it didn't matter because it had nine lives, so it could be curious. What it did have was the ability to have faith, to have vision, to know that there's more out there. There are so many things in this world that we would not even have knowledge of if it weren't for someone who was curious, someone who wasn't willing to take the status quo and be okay with it. For someone that wasn't willing to trade time for a dollar. For somebody that wasn't willing to take a value of something and then undersell it. For somebody that was willing to take that next step and then go on and share what they found. Because it's curiosity is that first step, but also then go on and share what you found. That's an interesting piece. And it's not necessarily convincing somebody that it exists or selling somebody on the fact that it's there. It's simply sharing what you found because there's going to be an initial movement on those that believe in others, that believe and they can feel it. If you're in alignment, they will feel it. And those are the first
Mm-hmm.
people we need around us is the people that we didn't have to convince, we didn't have to sell, that could tell right away how passionate we were and that was what made the difference. This is what I found. It may or may not be for you, but if it is, I'd love to lock arms and let's go forth in attracting more people that we don't have to sell, we don't have to convince, and that can tell that this is real. This they trust what we have for them. They trust who we are in finding that. And that's that curiosity skill that's in front of us as a resource. Knowing
Yeah.
that, look, if I hadn't been open to doing some research and allowing somebody to show me something that I initially didn't believe existed because I was in a limited belief position, which means I needed it even more than I even knew, and then
Mm.
and then took a next step of being curious, saying let me see what this is all about. I didn't
Let
have
me
to
dig in. Let me go a
yeah,
little deeper. Right.
I didn't have to say I didn't have to say, oh yeah, give it to me. And I do it. All I had to do was be curious. All I had to do was take one more look and answer one more phone call. All I had to do is listen to one more phrase, one more position, see even more proof. Without curiosity, we won't even know that proof exists. We won't even know that
Right.
even more exists. And it's
Right.
internal curiosity. What else am I capable of, and how much have I limited my growth and development and purpose here in this world as a human, as the only species that time and time again doesn't live to its fullest extent. We're the only, literally, and we have the biggest ability to evolve and change, but we are the number one species that doesn't live to its fullest extent. And Jim Rohn talks about that,
Oh
how
yeah.
a tree doesn't grow halfway. A tree doesn't get tall and then not put branches out. A tree doesn't do that. A tree grows as tall as it can. It
Just
grows as
keeps
many
going.
branches as it can.
Right.
It just keeps
Right.
going. And uh, and that's the difference between humans. For some reason, we start to believe that there's only so much of us, and we start to believe the limitations of others that went before us. And then we lose curiosity, we lose that vision, we lose that faith. And that's so important because we can redefine ourselves every single moment of every single day.
Every single day. Yeah, and I want to go ahead and read some of these comments because this is good stuff, guys. Thank you so much for engaging because this is what it's about. It's about connecting. I mean, Keith and I, we've seen a few things, but the intention of this is not to direct people. It's to connect with people. We want everyone to create this mastermind. And so, Kelly talks about um, she had commented on Christine. Christine said, yeah, sometimes if you dig too deep, you turn things that you can't into trouble. You can't into trouble. And that's what you talked about, Keith, is going in knowledgeless, right? And not going in with faith and, not taking one step at a time, right? But sometimes you got to leap, man. I mean, shoot, go for it. You may get scratched up along the way. She also says that curiousness builds growth and can build our impact. Absolutely, because we can discover more, right? We can go ahead and discover more. And then Christine says something was really profound. She says, never stop learning because life never stops teaching. And that's a big one because we can turn off the listening.
Hmm.
we do that quite often, right? When we don't want to hear it. And that's huge. Miranda talks about without curiosity, a person will never take the next steps to
That's
reaching
right.
his goals. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, think about a child, right? I mean, the reason why they learn so much so fast is because they're into everything. They're not stopping, And Dennis talks about truth. Amen. Total chills. Awesome. Yeah, Sierra talks about owning it, taking control of your path of life. Samantha says, don't wish for less problems, pray for more skills. Jim Rohn, right on.
Yep.
That's one of my favorites. And Samantha also says, I love when you guys talk about growth. It's so powerful. Well, you know what, Samantha? That's the number one subject of the entire world right now. If you look
Yep.
at the fastest growing industry, it's self-development.
Yep.
People are more in tune now to understanding who they are and why they are, right? And it's because of somebody actually said something that sparked that curiosity. There's that word again to say, what are they talking about? And it's interesting. When I first got involved in personal development, listening to videos and things like that, I went back as far as I could, with some of the mentors. And this was like, all the way back to the Bible, when Jesus was walking the earth. I mean, if you think about the personal development that is required for all of us, it is our number one priority. Like to seek who we are, as a purpose. And the only way you do that is through other people's experiences, right? So collaborating and coming together and masterminding is so important. And it's also important to remember that you're not alone, right? Even though you may feel like you're only going through what you're going through, somebody else has been through it or someone else is going through it, right? And the cool thing about it is now that we have all this technology, right? We have all this connection that we can make. Um, we can go ahead and seek what others are experiencing. And we can go and ask questions and we can be very curious of what's going on. And so I want to remind everybody of how important it is that, we are better together. And I took that phrase from many others out there who also believe that. And I want us to remember that it's not about what others believe in us. It's what we believe in ourselves. That's what starts the train. That's what starts the energy, is having that curiosity to say, you know what? I want to know what else this can mean. I want to grow more. I want to develop more. I want to become a better problem solver. I want to be one who doesn't always complain about the challenges, but actually seeks the uncertainty so that I can grow and develop these muscles that are required to lift big boulders and to be able to save lives out there for people that are weak in the moment, and you can be there to pick them up.
100%. Look how many times our technology updates. Look how many times it's almost like every week there's an update sent out. There's a patch that's corrected. And we expect it of our technology, which is so much further ahead than I could have ever imagined. We need to expect that of ourselves. And so think about those moments of personal growth and development. What book are you reading? What person are you following? What podcast are you listening to? What book are you listening to? What seminar are you going to? How much are you willing to invest? Uh, One of the
There's the
Seattle
key word.
Seahawks, right? How much are you willing to invest, right? In the universal bank account. It doesn't always have to
Right.
be money. but in the universal
No,
bank
heck no.
account,
It's
what is it?
value. Yeah.
Russell Wilson. My
Yep.
son just told me Russell Wilson invests $1 million a year into himself. It has to do with a personal trainer that follows him, coaches that follow him around. He has two chefs, executive chefs, um, personal development classes. It's literally because that he knows the value of himself, and that if you look at it as a percentage of his total income or his total worth, he's not only investing that small percentage, he's allowing that to compound.
Pound.
Because look at all
Yes.
the different things we invest in financially, and then we sit back and wait on them. And we don't realize that you can invest, you don't have to sit back and wait. You reap
Mm.
that benefit right away. There's no tax on that. You invest in here and you invest in two things. You invest in three. The brain, the heart, the gut, and the brain. You reaping those rewards immediately. Immediately. Especially when you do it with somebody that knows what they're doing or has given you some guidance. Immediate feedback, immediate return on your investment, tenfold, and it'll continue to compound. Or you can sit around and wait. And we know what that
I just
does.
thought of something as you were saying that. You are your life's greatest asset.
Right there.
How are you growing value? That's the
And
question. Ask yourself
that's
that.
a great question to ask somebody if you're looking to create a new relationship or is look at how they treat themselves. Look at how much they invest in themselves. Not from a
That's huge,
selfish
man.
standpoint, but you're not going to be able to
Value
demand.
standpoint.
Yeah, because guess
Yeah.
what? If you're in high demand, or you're looking to put yourself in a position of high demand, or you have high demands that you want placed on you, how are you going to come through and constantly be improving and giving even more if you're not investing? That bucket, it doesn't only need to be full, the bucket needs to be bigger. And what are you doing to build a bigger bucket and then to fill it even more? Because
Wow.
that's literally what those are going to be the most impactful people, and that's really what we're talking
Wow.
about here.
Yeah, and that's huge. And this is not to discredit God. Trust me, the
No,
Lord
no.
is in my life's greatest asset because that is from the bigger picture. But think of this. You would have never been born if the Lord didn't feel that you were a great asset. And
Hmm.
so as we discover more about ourselves and as we realize the assets that we surround ourselves with that make us as a being that much more valuable, that's the chore every day. And
Hmm.
curiosity is going to help you discover even more. And so, for all those who have chimed in today, thank you guys for being the heartbeat of this broadcast, sharing it, sending out the likes, being engaging in this conversation is what it's all about. Our tribe will live forever. And because we are willing to be vulnerable, we're willing to grow and develop and to seek all of that's out there for us, is what's going to help us to get through some of the toughest times in life. And so for the hundreds of thousands that will see this on replay, if you are seeing us on replay, just go ahead, hashtag replay in the comments below, and let us know your feedback. Let us know what you're going through and what you could contribute to this broadcast, because it truly is a fact that we are one and we are better together. So we'll see you guys tomorrow, Work Wednesday, same time, same place in the Tank Live with Keith Deyo and Aaron Hairston. Peace.
Peace.